What's happening, guys? If you have a Harley Davidson, and sometimes when you crank it, you push your starter button up here, and you hear a quite loud clunk. It almost sounds deadly, like something completely broke in the engine, but it didn't. If it just, something in the starting mechanism made just a pretty solid clunk sound, but then you push it again and the bike turns over just fine. It only happens every now and then. I heard this on my bike, and this motor is not very old as far as hours or mileage on it. But I did some reading online and noticed quite a few people having a similar issue, and you hear all kinds of people saying, oh, you got to tear that motor down, you got a serious starter problem, starting gear problem, whatever. Rebuild the engine, just all kinds of nonsense. But another guy said all he did was replace the battery, and it solved his problem. So I said, okay, let me try that. That's a lot easier than tearing the motor apart. So I did. I put a brand new battery in it, and lo and behold, no more clunk. Remarkable. So, there you go. If you have a clunk sound when you fire it up, I do not. I sometimes have a spin, but right there, it now fires up every time with no clunk whatsoever. Not a clunk at all, and I've tried it numerous times. I mean, that thing fires right up as it should. The only other thing it sometimes does is it spins like that, which, whatever, I ain't worried about that. So there you go. If your Harley gives you a pretty nasty clunk sound when you push the starter button, throw you a new battery in it. Problem solved. And also, you don't need to be using the $1 million OEM battery, even the Yuasa battery that costs, $150, $200, whatever. Screw that stuff. I'm sorry, but most batteries can get the job done. I got mine at Napa Auto Parts, $80 with a special discount they had. I ain't trying to spend no $200 on a stupid battery. That's just me, though, and I take care of my stuff, too. So, anyway, get your battery, throw it in there. I guarantee you that the clunk that you hear when you hit your starter button will go away. There you have it. Mine only does that every now and then. I ain't worried about it. There you have it. This is this is a hodgepodge, if you want to put it that way. This is quite the project that I did last year. 1957 hardtail frame with a 2007 Road King 96-inch engine, S&S Super E carburetor that I tuned myself, Ultima 6-speed transmission, soft tail, I want to say it's a 1995 or 94 oil tank, oil pressure gauge, Jersey Customs, you get those online, custom seat, battery with my own circuit breaker system, even has a battery shutoff switch right there. If you're doing all kinds of, testing of electronics and whatnot, you don't want to have to keep taking the battery on and off for the disconnect. What else do we have on this thing? It's got a rear sprotor, if you've heard of it, sprocket rotors. That's also the rear brake rotor. Pretty awesome, if you ask me. 3-inch BDL belt drive. What else? Thunderheart ignition, the programmable ignition. And if you have an issue with that thing not running right, look at my other videos. I solved that problem because the instructions are incorrect as far as wiring that thing. And I did my own wiring to this bike. Did all that myself. So I got a hand shifter with a clutch built in. Performance machine front brakes. Stainless braided line. Vintage horn. Springer front end from a 97 model. 2004 Street Glide fuel tank. Samson exhaust with my own bracket system that I created to mount it to the hardtail frame. It's a generic rear fender. My own turn signal system with brake light. That was completely used from a different application installed on this guy. Works fine. Got the little tiny front signals as well. They'll focus. White wall tires. OEM forward controls. The only issues I had were making sure the oil line hoses were routed correctly and connected correctly. You know, that's an issue with some of these older oil tanks. Otherwise, this job was lengthy and the wiring was pretty difficult. And I had to replace the regulator wiring. If you can see, there it is. Had to get a connector, that was pretty wild. I had to buy an entire cable for another purpose to make it work. What else? I have a bleeder system for my oil gauge in case I want to bleed the line. It's another issue people have. My own wiring as far as underneath the gas tank. I bypassed the crankcase vent because I hate that stuff going into my intake. Those fumes coming out of your crankcase. I hate that stuff. I remove all that on all my vehicles. I don't care what EPA regulations say. I take it off because I don't want my intake breathing polluted oil vapor, basically. Anyway, that's my own purpose, my own preference. This bad boy runs really good. I'm really impressed with it. Needs a bath, whatever. Anywho, there's your bit on replace your battery if you have a clunking starter sound on your Harley. See y'all later.